So here it is, the cheapest 987 Porsche Cayman S in the UK. And in the last video I explained to you that I won this car at auction and there's quite a bit wrong with it.
Don't ask me why again, we tried again and didn't feel the same. The plans was nicking up the diagram. Winter overseas, I got some bags that need acquiring. We used to get cash, the checks bigger so they wire them. Plug talk, fuck the middleman, bring the supplier in. From Italy to Ireland as part of the requirements. Could've joined a union, kid Andrew turned to fireman. But I'm still doing fire shit, adapt to my environment.
Now we know the front of the car is quite badly damaged. This also goes to the window, the front windscreen, the passenger door glass, but then round the back, it actually isn't bad. And on the listing, this car was down as a category S because of that fold right there. Which I think is a bit unfair, but there's nothing you can do about it. And because most of the damage is localised to that front corner, I think we might be okay in terms of fixing it, but I'm not gonna lie, it's probably still gonna be quite expensive. And like I said in the last video, we managed to get the Cayman for 4,000 Great British pounds. And I think that for £4,000 for a car like this, yes, it's quite badly battered, but it's a good starting point to actually make a bit of money on it. Well, that's if I can get the parts for cheap enough. But since I've had this car in my possession, there's a fair few things I haven't checked, yes, that I wanted to, but I haven't been able to because I haven't recorded it yet. Because anything I do, obviously I've got to include you. I can't go and do it off camera and then go, oh, by the way. And one of those things is to actually go around the car and see what it is I've still got, because there's parts in the boot, there's parts in the passenger seat, and then if you come to the front, there's parts in the front as well. Now I know that 90% of what is still in the car probably isn't usable, but there are things such as little trim clips and little pieces which will save money here, there and everywhere. And we're trying to get other parts to replace the ones that are damaged. Another thing as well is I actually want to assess the level of damage, because I know the subframe is snapped down the bottom. And because of that, I've managed to source a new subframe already. And that's because that was 100% damaged, and I knew that from the day I got the car. But another thing I've been dying to do is to pull that plastic off this side of the car and open the passenger door just to see what's on the footwell on that side. So now I have to peel it off and we'll see how satisfying it actually is. Tell you what, that's a lot stickier than I thought it was going to be. But it's off. Now the plastic's off, you can see the reason why it was on in the first place, and that's because the window blew up. Don't know how it happened or what had happened, unless it was a case of someone was in the passenger seat stuck, so they smashed the windscreen to get into the car. But who knows? But for the first time since owning this car, let's see what's behind the passenger door. And you know what? It's actually not bad. There's bits in this little footwell cubbyhole thing. The carpet, as you can expect, it's got glass all over it. The dashboard and the airbag are covered in glass, but I think that's off the windscreen. So this windscreen, well, most windscreens actually, something called curtain glass. What it means is when this cracks or smashes, it keeps all the glass as together as it can be, so you haven't got big shards of glass flying everywhere. I don't recommend you do that at home, by the way, but if you press without cutting your fingers, you can see the glass can move. And I think the way that works is there'll be a film over the glass, so when the glass smashes underneath, that film keeps it all together on the top. It's quite clever stuff, really. But as you can see on the passenger seat, this and this seem to be the front half, the bumper on the smashed up side of the Cayman. And I'm surprised the fog light actually survived, considering the damage everywhere else. But yeah, I think it's safe to say we're going to need a new bumper. I've also just noticed, looking at the passenger handle, you can see it sits open slightly. Don't know if this is a common problem, I'll look into it, but I think that handle's going to need to be changed because it's quite loose. But the passenger seat seems to be in fairly okay condition. The seat belts have locked out because that's what happens when your airbags go off. And I think it's safe to say I'm going to need a new airbag, new dashboards, and a fair bit for the interior. So that's all there was on the passenger seat. Again, not much really we can use, so let's go to the front and see what's in there. So in the front, I've got the battery on charge, so the car's not actually connected, but there's a bag. Let's see what's in this bag. So in this bag of crashed up goodies, we've got this. It seems to be a intake scoop for the left hand side. Sits like that at the front of the car. Safe to say we're going to need a new one of them. We've got this, which is the fog light surround. Didn't really survive, so there's not much left there either. We have this, which again looks like the fog light grille. Yeah, that's a scrapper, not much on that. And then we've got these, which actually look like bits off the headlight. You can see the reflectors, there it is. That would have been the indicator on the headlight. And then in the left is more bits of the headlight. That looks like a bumper bracket, I think. Oh, that looks like a headlight washer pump, I think. Yeah, and there's the end. So that would have been on there. And then it pops up out the bumper, sprays your headlights, goes back down. I think we're gonna need a new one of them as well. But there's not much else there, nothing that can be used, so all that's for the flat. So not really a successful scavenger hunt there, but let's see what else is in the front and if we can use any of it. So what's left in the front is this, which is the battery cover, so we need that. Nice little Porsche logo on the front. Then we've got these, so these are bungee cords, get rid of them. And then we're left with this, and I think 90% of this is actually the headlight. What's that? Yeah, so I think all that plastic mesh and the electrics, that is all off the xenon headlight. I don't think any of it's really salvageable. The lens might be, but that's if I need to use it. Same with the unit on the back, but again, it depends on if I need to use it. At least I've got it there to try. But usually the only reason you'd ever need to change a unit on a headlight is if the headlights need programming, so you swap the units over to try and save the programming mesh, because that unit will have all the data the car needs to know it's the right headlight, but hopefully we don't need that with these xenons. But now I've just connected the battery up, so we'll open the boot, which is down here, so it's a little button, much like the TT. Press the button on the back, and that opens the boot, so we can open the boot, see what's in there. So in the boot we have what looks like an arch liner, which is good because they don't have to buy that. I think, don't actually know what way this goes in, but I know it's in good nick because it's been a full piece. Another arch lining, but that one's a bit cracked on the front, so we'll have to get a new one of them. See how much that is. Another arch lining, but this actually seems okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. There's a few cracks, but nothing we can't repair with the hot staple, so it's not that bad. And then this is what's left of the front indicator, but as you can see, that's pretty well destroyed. So that's all the parts in the car out the way, and I don't think we're doing too well in terms of reusable stuff, so we're probably going to have to buy new of everything we've just pulled out. And the interior is no exception to that, so the steering wheel airbag's going to need replacing, the dashboard airbag's going to need replacing, the dashboard will need replacing. I've just realised there, oh, let's get rid of the glass. Just realised my cup holder's snapped, which I'm a bit gutted about. So that clicks in there and it's supposed to stay in, but it just keeps popping out. Get the stupid airbag out the way. You can see the trim piece on the front, that's also missing, which is a shame. Because after a quick Google search, them cup holders actually aren't as cheap as you'd think. Near 200 quid. But I think the next thing to do, not only for my own safety, but for my own peace of mind, is to clean the interior of this car. Now I've got the hoover out, so let's give it a clean. Now we've hoovered some of the glass up off the mat, we can actually get the mat out. Let's see, oh, there's more glass. Is that cat food? Well, the previous owner must have had cats, because there's a little pouch of whiskers and a lot more glass. So I've just cleaned up a lot of the glass out of the interior, and I've just realised until I remove that windscreen, I'm going to keep getting glass all over the place. So it was kind of a waste of time, but now that the glass has been hoovered up and the carpet's looking fresh again, the seat is looking nice and clean. I've took the airbag away in the dash, and you know what? It's starting to look a little bit more like a car again. So that's the passenger side done. We'll move over to the driver's side and see if that carpet is hiding any secrets. Just like this. Well, just took the carpet out and found some of my cup holder, which is good because that one's snapped there. So if I can fix it, it might save me a bit of money. So that's the driver's carpet cleaned, kind of. I need to do a better detail on it, but you know what? I'm quite impressed with the carpet in this car because the age of it. I don't know what that is. Because of the age of it, it's still quite soft and it's in fairly decent condition. And I think my luck might be beginning to turn because I've just found something in the car that I might actually be able to fix. And that's behind the driver's seat. So this is the front fascia plate off the cup holders over there. So if I can fix that, I'll save myself a few £100. And there is the other half of the cup holder that is actually snapped. That there. But looking at it, the pin is bent, so if I can straighten that pin back out and get it back in, I might save myself a fair bit here. So after the hoover, the interior is actually looking fairly okay, minus the glass dashboard and airbag, but everything else seems to be pretty well kept. And I'm convinced the previous owner of this car actually did look after it, because in terms of the interior condition, the bits that aren't really affected by the crash, it's actually in really good nick. Just realised I haven't even checked in the glove box yet. See what's in there. Well, the soft close works still, which is fantastic because that usually breaks. We have, what's this? We have the Charlatan's Modern Nature. You see these in there? Nope. Then we also have these. One is Ecotechnics R134A, that's air conditioning gas. So I'm assuming they got the aircon re-gassed. Yeah, gas injected, tracer injected, blah, 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 blah. And this one is for Birmingham Airport. So they must have been going on holiday. Oh, 2017. I just realised the aircon gas was in 2017 as well. Hold on, so that means they've been in that glove box for 7 years. I passed my driving test in 2017. But now that we know there's no nasty surprises on the interior, well, other than a cup, a glass apple juice bottle, and 2 pouches of whiskers. I wouldn't say nasty surprises, they're just a bit odd. But now that we know the interior is okay and there's nothing else really that we can see other than when we take the dashboard off, I think it's time to address the outside. By that, I mean this. So obviously this is the most damaged part of the car. So it looks like the radiator is going to need replacing purely based on how crumpled the end there. There's an aircon pipe that's snapped. I need to find out what one that is. I think it's this. But we'll need to get a part number off that because that looks like it runs up and underneath just by the firewall. There's this, which looks like a washer jet for the headlights. That's what that'll be, the light jets. Don't really know what that is, so I'll have to do some research there. But the big one is the subframe right down the bottom, because like you saw in the previous video, the tails are snapped and it's currently held on with some ratchet straps and Jubilee clips. So that's why on this new subframe that I bought, these are the ears that snapped on the old one. And as you can see, it's already in a much nicer condition. So we'll get that fitted so we can make sure the car is actually stable and not sitting on Jubilee clips. But in order to fit the new second-hand subframe, we're going to have to take the old subframe off, and that's quite a big job. Because although it's this side that is quite badly damaged, like we've already touched on, it also means I'm going to have to take everything off that side to drop the subframe, and we need to get the bumper off as well. So because we need to dismantle the whole front end of the car, and that's not a 5-minute job, I'm going to do that in the next video. So if you want to see me do that and follow along with the build, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And if you've liked what you've seen today, hit the like button and turn on that notifications bell so you get an update when I post the next video. I've got to go get some part numbers to get ready for that video, so I'll see you in the next one.